Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
It has been a banner year for Tigers right fielder J.D. Martinez. A 2-run homer in last night's game, giving J.D. 101 RBIs on the season. First time he's reached that plateau. 38 home runs as well. J.D. back in the lineup tonight. Warm night for baseball here in Arlington. Game 3 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Texas Rangers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us for the series finale here tonight. Well, how about J.D. Martinez, Rod? Coming into the season, there was some thought, could he duplicate what he did last year? He has gone beyond that.
You know, his last 2 years have simply been remarkable. He went from a guy that got released by the Houston Astros to being signed by the Tigers to nearly 40 home runs this year. There's already been 8 guys in the major leagues with 40 or more home runs this season. J.D. could be number 9 of that group if he's able to hit 2 in the final 4 games of the season.
He certainly has a legitimate shot at that. Now, as far as the Rangers are concerned, a Texas team right now that is controlling the American League West, and they've done so because of their offense. This is a Rangers ball club that since July the 20th has really poured it on. The offense, well, you look at the numbers as far as batting average. They're up. On-base percentage is up. They are scoring almost one more run a game than they were before July the 20th, and that record speaks for itself, 42 and 23. They're on a bit of a roll right now.
Well, I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Their bullpen has been outstanding in the month of September, and it really goes back to the month of August when they made a couple of deals. Then you have your big boys, Chew. That would be Belcher and Fielder in the middle of that batting order. They simply have been getting it done. All of those 3 guys I just mentioned have driven in more than 20 runs in the month of September, and that's why this team finds itself right in the thick of the race trying to get to the postseason.
All right, Tigers baseball just minutes away, but right now we send you back to the Call Sam Studios. We check in with Justin White.
brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram Trucks, come in and get a great deal on the best trucks during Ram Truck Month. And by Nestle, good food, good life.
In the clubhouse with this group of guys and this staff every day, and no matter where we're at, we know we're going to go out and play hard and try to play good baseball, and we've been able to do that at home lately, and it's definitely helped us.
Describe your clubhouse in light of everything that's happened and the temperature of the room as you go into the final week.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a great spot, like I said earlier, and it's a great group of guys in here. We're really close, and we kind of lean on one another, and that's what makes those good teams, not just good on the field but off the field as well, and we've definitely got that.
There's Mitch Moreland and his thoughts as to why this has been a really good ball club in the second half. When you look at some of the numbers the Rangers have been able to put up, it's no surprise really that this team is controlling the West. They are 21-8 at home since August 1st. That's always a good recipe.
They always have, and they also have themselves an outstanding skipper. He has done a marvelous job. He is going to get some consideration for Manager of the Year. They also have some veterans on their team, some guys that are battle-tested, some guys that have been to the playoffs like Fielder and Andrews and Chu and some of the other guys that have played in postseason baseball.
Here is the starting lineup for the Tigers tonight, presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Anthony Gose in the leadoff spot in center field. Rajai Davis at left. Ian Kinsler is batting third tonight. JD is batting cleanup, the DH. The Tigers have both Martinez, Victor that is, and Cabrera out of the lineup. Collins in right, Castellanos at third, Avila, McCann, Romine, your bottom three, and they're facing the right-handed offerings of Yovani Gallardo.
And Gallardo's got all four pitches. His fastball will top out at about 92 miles an hour. He's making his 33rd start here tonight. He comes in 12-11 with a 3.42 ERA. That ERA is not bad at all. 116 strikeouts and 16 base on balls. Gallardo has an outstanding breaking ball. Let's take a look at the Texas Rangers starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Beltre anchors their defense with 4 gold gloves at that third base position. He won his last in 2012. Andrews, Odor, and Moreland in the infield with him. Napoli, DeShields, Chu in the outfield, and Chirinos is the catcher here this evening.
Well, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented tonight by McDonald's Steak and Egg Burritos. And a wild ball game here at the ballpark last night. The Tigers fell behind early after getting the home run by Martinez. Cole Hamels could not hold the lead. It was back and forth, but in the end, I think Brad Ausmus really could have been too excited about the brand of baseball the Tigers played last night.
That may have been the ugliest game that I've seen the Tigers play this year. They made 4 errors, and they probably could have been charged with another error. So that's one of those games that you want to burn that video, partner.
Yeah, you do. But as we say in baseball, there's always another game the next day, and we've got another one here tonight.
And the boys look ready to play. Everybody was bouncing around the clubhouse this afternoon. Guys seem to be in a very good mood, which points you made. You have to turn the page.
All right, here's Anthony Gose to get things started for the Tigers. It'll be Gose, Davis, and Kinsler facing Gallardo, the 29-year-old native of Mexico. First pitch of tonight's ball game is swung on and missed 0-1.
And Anthony's been doing a pretty nice job in the month of September. He's been on base in 18 of his last 23 contests.
Gose batting .255, 5 home runs this year as he looks at ball 1 high and away, 1-1. 89 degrees our game time temp tonight from Globe Life Park here in Arlington.
Yeah, defense pretty much playing Anthony Gose straight up.
Pulled foul just outside of the bag at first base.
Come to think of it, Mario, Gose might be one of the few guys that we've seen this year where teams really haven't overshifted on him.
Yeah, typically everybody else in the lineup has the defense going one way or the other.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's a table setter or a guy that's hitting in the middle of the batting order.
1-2 on Gose. 3 for 9 in the series so far.
Made an outstanding catch in last night's game too. There's that breaking ball that Gallardo will feature a lot of this evening.
Gallardo was acquired from Milwaukee this past offseason in January. Had really good numbers with the Brewers. Rajai Davis waiting on deck. Here's the 2-2. It's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gallardo's a guy that has not been able to stick around a whole lot in games. In fact, he's only gone more than 6 innings once since June 27th. So it's not awfully good. There's a foul at home plate. He's been able to basically go 4, 5, 6 innings. That's about it.
Well, it's a good thing that bullpen has been revamped. Since the trade deadline, they've gotten themselves a couple of really nice pieces out in the bullpen, which has pushed some guys back earlier in the game. Some guys are pretty much pitching in familiar roles now. They got a lot of them in that bullpen, too.
Not enough chairs out there. 3-2 is strike 3 called, and out of there on strikes is Ghost. 1 away in the Tigers' first.
The previous 3-2 pitch to Anthony Ghost was a slider. I don't know if Anthony Ghost was looking for another slider or not, but he took a fastball that was right down the middle at 89 miles an hour.
Here's Rajai Davis. Brad has his speed 1 and 2 in the lineup tonight. Goes in Davis. And Rajai takes all the way. Strike 1.
It's only been a couple of times where they've batted 1 and 2 in the lineup. When both are in the lineup, usually one guy's batting first, the other one's batting ninth.
The 0-1 is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Davis on a bit of a streak right now. He's hit safely in 7 consecutive games, and really overall the month of September has been awfully good for Rajai. 333 this month. That's in there, a strike. I know in talking with Davis, who is a free agent at the end of the season, he would love to come back to the Motor City. I mean, it's a great group of guys here, and he also has pointed out it's a great staff, and he would love to come back.
Great city, great fans. He's very comfortable in a Tigers uniform.
But there is a business aspect to the game, and that has to match up as well. Checked it low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If they don't bring Rajai back, they're going to have to find someone like Rajai Davis, somebody that has the kind of speed that he has that can really help out this offense when they're not necessarily hitting the balls out of the ballpark, but some guys that can help them manufacture some runs with a stolen base.
Here's the 2-2. Got him. Strike 3, and Tom Hallion has that big wind-up strikeout call.
I don't know what the scouting report is that was given to the Tigers this evening on Gallardo. I know they are going to look for some breaking balls early, but there's no way that you can take fastballs that are splitting the plate. That one may have been a shade outside.
I think Rajai thought it might have been a touch low.
Yeah, because he got plenty of plate.
So with 2 outs, here is Ian Kinsler. Kinsler hit a ball last night for the final out that looked like it was going to split the gap and go up against the wall and give the Tigers the lead. But Drew Stubbs made a fine running catch on it to end the ball game.
Ian Kinsler batting .298 as we speak, with a legitimate shot of getting to .300 before the season's end. He did go 0 for 5 in last night's game. It would be the second time in Kinsler's career batting .300.
2-0 on Ian. Oh for 5 in the series. Kinsler did not play in the opener. And that is ripped to left, a base hit. 2-out single for Kinsler. Tigers have their first base runner of the game, and they bring up J.D. Martinez. And with more on J.D., we check in with John Keating.
Well, it was a home run last night that got him to 100 RBI, sort of a remarkable plateau for a young player like J.D. Martinez, and he wanted the baseball. You could see him going out to the bullpen in the Rangers bullpen asking for the ball back, and there was a negotiation between the 2 bullpens, and yes, he got the ball back. And I asked him whether that had happened to him before. He hit the first home run at Marlins Park, and a fan caught it, and he was trying to get the baseball back, as was the team. They offered autograph bats from Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes, and Giancarlo Stanton, and the fan said no. He wanted, Mario and Rod, a suite for a baseball.
Well, Keith, what was the negotiation last night between the 2 bullpens?
I think it was just a wink and a smile. That was pretty much it.
Well, that's the way they do it in the big leagues.
Sweet, man, that Giancarlo Stanton autograph.
And the ball is still gone. It is still gone.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, thanks.
Okay.
Well, JD certainly reaching a milestone that is special for him. That home run last night gave him 101 RBIs, and that's pretty special, as you mentioned on the open rod, for a guy that was released a year ago.
And then he went down to the minor leagues. He was in Toledo for about 3 weeks. He hit 10 home runs down there. Then he forced his way on the big league roster, and Brad Ausmus has not been able to get him out of the lineup.
It's funny.
Nor does he want to.
It's funny how baseball works out. I mean, JD could have gone down to AAA. What if he had gotten off just a so-so start?
Right.
At AAA. He would not have put himself on the map. Maybe he comes up later in the year, but he certainly doesn't have as much of an opportunity as he got by hitting, what he had, like 10 home runs first month?
Yeah, he was showing out. In 17 games, I believe.
Yeah, at AAA, and that got him to the big leagues. 3-0 on Martinez. 2 outs, runner at first. And he's swinging 3-0 and drills one to left center. Base hit. Kinsler on his way to third base. JD trying for 2, and the throw is not in time. Kinsler wide turn, and he almost got thrown out at third base.
Almost the second time he and Kinsler picked off in the last few games, overrunning the bag. It happened at Comerica Park at second base when he nearly got picked off. JD Martinez hits the ball as hard as anybody in the big leagues. And I mean that literally. When he barrels it up, his line drives and the balls that he puts in play, the hit speed is always over 100 miles an hour. That's just how much bat speed JD generates. And he was taking double out of that batter's box, and he was able to get there. It's a nice play by Odor, the second baseman, after getting the ball from the outfielder to throw behind Ian Kinsler.
So Cole Hamels had this problem last night. He retired the first 2 batters and then gave up runs in each of the first 3 innings.
Tigers have scored 99 runs in the first frame this year, which puts them 5th in baseball. 5th in baseball. The other 4 teams ahead of the Tigers are all teams that are headed to the postseason.
Now Tyler Collins will stand in.
You might as well jump on that first pitch fastball if Gallardo's going to give it to you.
Tyler batting .264. And he jumps on it. Base hit to right field. That'll get 2 runs in. Tyler Collins getting it done in his homecoming here in Texas. And the Tigers lead 2-0.
Anytime the pitching coach goes out to visit with the pitcher that's on the mound, and then you are in that batter's box, you're going to get a pitch that's good to hit. It's a breaking ball that's just spinning right in the happy zone of Collins. He turns on it and drives in a couple of huge runs. Tigers have now scored 101 runs in the first inning.
Every single one of their runs in the last 2 nights have come with 2 outs.
Yeah.
A 2-out rally started by the Kinsler single, the Martinez double, and the Collins base hit. Strike 1 to Castellanos. Nick 2 out of 6 in the series, batting .257. He left the ball game early last night with a bruised finger.
Small sampling, but Nick, one of the few in the Tigers order tonight that has had some success against Gallardo. He is 2 for 3, which is good for a .667 batting average.
Oh, they got him picked off. Collins was leaning, couldn't get back, getting a rundown. Odor runs him back, and now the tag is made by Gallardo to end the inning. Tigers, however, scored 2 on the 2-run single by Tyler Collins. is on the hill for the Tigers, and he is presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Last couple of times Boyd has gone out there, it's been a quality start for him, 6 innings or more, 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs or less. He is looking for his second win as a Tiger with a 5.81 ERA, 34 strikeouts for Boyd, 18 base on balls.
Here's the starting lineup for the Rangers tonight. Presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, DeShields, Chu, Beltre in the top 3 spots. Chu is going off this month. Fielder, Napoli and Moreland in the middle, and Andrus, Odor, Chirinos batting 9th and catching. That's how they line up tonight for Texas. And now DeShields will stand in and get things rolling. And Delino looks at a strike, 0-1.
If you're Matthew Boyd, the one thing that you have to accomplish here in the very first inning is make sure when you go back in the dugout, your team still has a 2-0 lead.
That'll miss down low in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike on DeShields. 1 for 7 in the series for Texas. That 1 hit is a double. He and bunt. He's got 11 bunt hits this year, so Castellanos on the cut of the grass in case. Missing high, run the count to 2-1.
And Boyd has all 4 pitches. Fastball gets up to about 93 miles an hour. He'll throw the slider about 16% of the time. The curveball about 9% of the time, but he loves his changeup. That he throws about 20% of the time. So mostly fastballs and changeups, and thrown by the left-hander Boyd.
Strike called by Tom Hallion. 2-2.
Tom Hallion calling that low strike today.
DeShields, couple of homers, good speed, 24 stolen bases. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. First strikeout of the ball game for Matt Boyd.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. It is presented by Beaumont Health. Collins, Ghost, Davis in the outfield. Castellanos, Romine, Kinsler, Avila in the infield. James McCann is the catcher. Well, Tigers been kicking it around quite a bit in the last 5 games. 9 errors, and they've hit into 9 double plays. Turn 9 double plays, excuse me.
Shin-Soo Choo will stand in. Batting .276. And Choo looks at ball 1. There's not been a hotter hitter in the month of September than Shin-Soo Choo. .410 this month, 41 hits in September. And make it 42. He remains red hot. It's a 1-out single for Choo.
It really doesn't matter whether it's a left-hander or right-hander these days for Choo. He has just been balling for the Texas Rangers the last couple of months. The Rangers have seen a lot of left-handed pitching lately, and they've gotten a whole lot better against left-handed starters. They weren't good at the beginning of the year, but lately they have turned it up a notch. In their last 10 games against lefties, they are 8-2.
Here is Adrian Beltre. Really good series for Beltre. He is 4 for 10, batting .281. Ball inside, 1-0.
Real good career numbers against the Tigers and for Beltre. He's kind of worn them out. Went from Seattle to Boston and now Texas.
A little bit outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Beltre batted cleanup in game 1, and then he batted 3rd last night. He is batting 3rd again here tonight. And to chase Choo back there, who has 4 steals this year. Has been caught a couple of times.
There was a time where Choo was stealing 20 bags a year when he was wearing the Cleveland Indians uniform.
Now the 2-0. Rolled foul back into the Tigers dugout, third base side.
"12 homers, 53 RBI, and a .328 career average for Adrian And Beltre gets Tiger pitching. If you're Boyd, you're looking for one pitch. That would be down at the bottom of the strike zone, possibly get a ground ball. And it would be that 10th double play that the Tigers have turned in the last 5 games.
Instead, it's launched way back into left field, and that ball is way gone.
Goodness gracious.
Off the back wall in left field on a 2-1 pitch. Adrian Beltre has tied this game emphatically.
Well, it looks like it's going to be another wacky night here at Globe Life Park, partner.
It started this way last night. Well, it's going to start that way again tonight. I'm not sure I've seen a ball hit that back wall here.
I don't know about the pitch selection. You need a ground ball. I mean, so you've got a good two-seamer, you've got a good changeup, which might get you the ground ball, but he hangs in a breaking ball at 77 miles an hour right over the heart of the plate up in the strike zone. You're not going to get that ball a hit on the ground.
That ball is hit toward left field, and Davis comes over toward the line to retire fielder.
That pretty much has been the issue with Boyd this season. He's given up 15 home runs in limited pitching time between Toronto and the Tigers.
Well, last night the Tigers jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and the Rangers scored 5. Tonight, 2-0 lead, and Beltre is homered. .412 now for Beltre.
The Texas Rangers are one of those 5 teams that have scored more runs in the first inning than the Tigers have.
Here's Mike Napoli. Strike 1 to Napoli. 0 for 2 with a walk in the series. Napoli again in left field tonight. Came up as a catcher with the Angels. And really had not played outfield, period, as a professional until he got here to Texas. They started playing him in left field.
Yeah, he's now made 11 starts out there since they've acquired him. Have bat, will travel. He's also one of the main reasons, Mario, why their numbers have gotten better against left-handed pitching. They can split up Fielder, they can split up Moreland.
Rip foul. I know the batting average is low for Napoli, but he does provide a bit of a presence.
No doubt. That is a wonderful word, presence. And he's got a dangerous bat. He can hurt you.
Since being acquired on August 7th by the Rangers, he's hitting .300 with Texas. Here's the 1-2. One out single by Chu and a 2-run shot by Beltre to tie this game up. Three and 2 now on Mike Napoli should he reach Mitch Moreland waiting on deck for Texas. Napoli in the postseason 6 times in his career. Looks like he's headed back there again this year. And he walked him.
There's going to be a celebration this weekend in one of these clubhouses. It could be the Angels or it could be Texas, but one of these clubhouses is going to smell like champagne before the weekend's over with.
Yeah, the Angels coming in after the Tigers leave town to close out the series here, or the season here. And the Rangers came in with a 2-game lead on the Angels. Here is Mitch Moreland now as they play the shift against him. There's the ball low and in. 1-0 on Moreland. That'll bring the catcher McCann out to the mound.
This is the final start of the 2015 season for Matt Boyd. And Brad said he would not pitch out of the bullpen this weekend in Chicago at all.
Tigers will have Simon, Verlander, and Norris in the 3-game series in Chicago to close out the year. Now the 1-0. Moreland at 280, having a fabulous year. 23 home runs. He's also knocked in 84, which is a career high.
He's kind of come into his own this year, playing first base every day. In spring training, Prince Fielder told the manager that Moreland's a better first baseman than I am. I am absolutely fine with being the DH. We kind of had a feeling that Prince would turn into a DH at some point in time.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, I think it's kind of neat of him to realize that, hey, we got a guy that can play a little bit better defense. It'll make us better.
He's a team player.
Because I don't think, maybe there are a few that like to DH, but I think most, by and large, just don't like it.
Well, most guys like being on the field because if you have a bad at bat, you can go out to the field and still make a nice defensive play to help your team win a game.
Avila down there playing first base tonight as Miguel gets the night off. So Boyd, just like Gallardo, both have gone over 20 in the pitch count in the first inning. Matt is at 22 right now. Runner goes. Here's McCann's throw. It's a bullet. It's in time. Out at second base is Napoli.
They're going to look at it.
Throw was a little bit high, so we'll see if the replay indicates that the tag was down in time. Bannister wants to make sure, and he is waiting for word on whether or not they want to challenge.
Napoli had a great jump. He went on first movement. And then McCann had a strike thrown down to second base, and they did get him.
He's out.
Yep.
Texas will not challenge. So at the end of one, we're tied at 2. For the second, and Castellanos is leading it off for the Tigers. Nick swings on the first and lines it to left on a couple of hops, base hit.
Nick now 3 for 4 in his career against Gallardo.
Tigers had 1, 2, 3 hits in the first, and now another one here in the second. Here's Alex Avila. It also brings us to the Bernstein advantage. I want to talk about Yavani Gallardo and what he's done against left-handed batters. You can see in the second half, lefties this season batting in a much better clip than in the first half. And here is a lefty, Alex Avila, who is batting 192 coming in.
And not as much of a shift on Avila with a runner on first base. Odor is playing him to pull. Andrews to shortstop. He's directly behind the bag. Adrian Beltre playing about 10 steps off the third baseline.
Gallardo missing outside.
And when Avila first came to the big leagues with the Tigers, he had an outstanding inside-out swing, which allowed him to hit a lot of doubles the opposite way. Then he tried to start pulling the baseball after a couple of years and got into a couple of bad habits. But the last few hits that he's gotten, the last few games he's played, he's kind of rediscovered the opposite field again.
That is pulled in the air toward right. Chu is on the run. They'll cut it off in the gap. One gone. Castellanos retreats. That'll bring up James McCann. One out of 5 of the series for McCann, batting .266 as his first full season in the major leagues winds down. And Gallardo throws strike one.
And Gallardo pretty much throws straight over the top. And no low three-quarter angle, pretty much straight over the top with the fastball, the curve, the slider, and the changeup.
Ball one.
Here's the Gallardo delivery. A nice balanced spot, turns the back ever so slightly to the hitter and then comes straight over the top.
Gallardo spent 8 years or parts of 8 years with Milwaukee and really put up good numbers with the Brewers. In fact, with Milwaukee was 89 and 64 in his 8 seasons there.
He was the ace of their staff for a number of years.
He was born in Mexico, but grew up in the Fort Worth area, so he's in many ways a local kid here. Still lives in Fort Worth.
That's where we've been hanging out for the last 3 days.
There's a bouncer back up the middle. Could be to Odor. On to Andrus in a double play.
That was tight.
4-6-3. Inning over. Rodriguez in the middle there, and apparently, Rod, Pudge will be joining us in the booth at some point tonight.
Yeah, how about Pudge? I mean, down there in between a couple of pitchers down there and giving them a lot of knowledge as to how to go about their business, and one of those guys is Cole Hamels. To this day, Al Kaline said that Pudge Rodriguez is the single most and the best free agent signing that the Tigers have ever made.
Yeah, he was vital, there's no doubt. Certainly a key part of getting the Tigers to the World Series in 2006.
He also revitalized baseball in the Motor City. He was the start of it.
Here come the Rangers now as we go to the bottom of the second, and Matt Boyd goes back to the hill facing Mitch Moreland. He was at the plate when Napoli was cut down by McCann. Moreland, Andrus, and Odor here in the home half of the second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a good breaking ball there thrown by Boyd. Had Moreland fooled and out in front.
A couple of quality starts in a row now for Boyd. He gave up 2 runs in his last start over Minnesota, a victory, and 2 runs against KC. Got no decisions in both of those games, but the Tigers won. Up and in, and that sails to the backstop. 2 balls and 1 strike. Moreland has hit safely at 9 of his last 10 for the Rangers. He missed a couple of weeks early in the season. That was back in April with elbow surgery. But it really hadn't slowed him down for the type of year that he's put together. 23 homers, 84 driven in.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Chu, because he's picked it up lately. Prince has pretty much been spot on all year. Beltre's gotten hot, but Moreland's been consistent pretty much every step of the way.
There may be bigger names in their lineup, but he kind of just nicely fits into their starting 9. Here's the 2-2. Fly ball hit well to left center. Rajay Davis cruising over. 1 out.
It's a big outfield in left field and center field here. Not so much in right field, but there's in left field and right field every much as big and spacious as Comerica, with the exception of the depth in center field as far as the fence is concerned.
Here is Elvis Andrus. Been on base in 14 straight games, Andrus, and he'll take strike 1. He's walked in this series, 1 for 6. Andrus and Odor teamed up for a nice double play last half inning.
That was sweet.
He's going to push a bunt foul, first base side. By and large, though, Rod, this has been a Rangers team that defensively has not been one of the best.
And one of the bottom teams in the American League. I think they're 14th out of 15th in percentage. Well, they haven't pitched very well all year. Their offense is right in the middle, but yet they find themselves, if the season was to end today, in the playoffs.
They want to see if he went around. He did not, says Dan Bellino, the first base umpire.
This will be the 15th year there will not be a repeat winner for the World Series. And the Giants were eliminated last night by the Los Angeles Dodgers. You have to go all the way back to 92-93 when the Toronto Blue Jays had won the World Series in both of those seasons. And ironically, they're going back to the postseason this year for the first time since 93.
Yeah, congratulations to the Jays, who convincingly beat Baltimore today 15-2. They clinched last night. There's a ball low. Are they clinched today or last night? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but they clinched. Yeah. A lot of parity in baseball these days, with Texas looking like they're going to get in. Houston right there. Minnesota there. Pittsburgh, Chicago. A lot of small market teams.
Popped him up. Middle of the infield. Ian Kinsler. 2 gone. Well, deposits are not being accepted for 2016 Detroit Tigers full and partial season ticket plans. Call 313-471-BALL today or visit tigers.com. Here is Rougned Odor. Batting .267 on the year, Odor, and he looks at a strike call. Odor 1 for 7 of the series, has a 3-base hit.
Has 9 triples this year.
And he's put up really good numbers against the Tigers this season. Odor looks at a ball inside.
If you weren't with us last night, we told you that Odor and also DeShields both have 9 or more triples. That's the first time in Texas Rangers history they've had 2 guys with at least that many triples in the same season.
It'll sail low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Odor. The numbers against the Tigers this year really good. .325 for the Rangers second baseman. Here's the 2-1. Level the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boyd in search of a 1-2-3 second after allowing the 2-run shot to Adrian Beltre in the first inning.
Yeah, it's a pretty good breaking ball there. He had to stay in the strike zone for a long time into the last couple of feet. I told you Boyd has a fastball that will get up to about 94. His changeup probably his second best pitch. And he will throw you a slider and a curveball.
Boyd going 6 innings in each of his last 2 starts for the Tigers. 1-3 overall for Detroit. Missed low and away, and the count now goes 3-2. Waiting on deck is Robinson Chirinos, the number 9 hitter. Boyd now up to 40 pitches on the evening. And he got him, strike 3. Odor is caught looking at a 1-2-3 for Matt Boyd. No runs, no hits, nobody left. When we go to the third, special guest in the booth, Pudge Rodriguez is going to join us. He's in uniform. Believe it or not. We'll be back. 2-2 game. We are glad to have you with us. How about this guy? Pudge Rodriguez. He's in uniform too, Pudge.
He couldn't wait to get up here. He didn't even change.
I need to put a T here and the D over here.
There you go. That would have been nice. Well, it's always great to catch up with you here in Arlington. Fill us in. What have you been doing now that you're retired? You're still apparently in baseball.
Right. Yeah. I'm still working. I'm working with the Rangers. With John in the office and minor leagues, doing some, talking to the catchers in the minor leagues, and also I do pre and post game for Fox here at the Rangers.
So you're a TV star now.
I'm doing a little TV. My Spanglish working pretty good.
We saw you doing the pregame show. Then we saw you last night. You were downstairs in the dugout. Then we saw the shot of you. You were down there talking to, it looked like Hamels and a couple of other guys. So, I mean, it must be refreshing for those guys in that dugout coach to have someone like yourself around to talk to.
I'm not doing it all the time. You know, every once in a while I go to the dugout. Of course, I asked permission for Jeff to be in there, and he said, no, bro, you can come anytime. But the kids like it, you know, the guys, I talked to all of them during the game, and just watch the game from the dugout. You know, that's something that is in your blood to stay there in the dugouts every once in a while. When I'm not there, I always in the first row, and also run very close to the player. So it's always nice to be around baseball.
Anthony Gose looks at a strike call. We're chatting with Pudge Rodriguez, who's joined us in the booth here. Of course, Pudge had some really good years for the Tigers, and you brought the Tigers to the World Series back in 2006, Pudge. And I know that you've accomplished a lot in your career, but that really has to be one of the more special years, I would think, in your career.
Absolutely. It was when I got a bunch of hair in my head. If you can see, you know, everything was out. It's unbelievable how time changed. It was great time, you know. 2006 was a very special year for us, you know, especially, you know, not even 2006, since I got to the Detroit organization in 2004, you know, Dombrowski did a great job putting a great team together, and in 2 years, you know, we in the World Series. You know, I think we couldn't win that World Series if we didn't have those many days off, you know.
Right.
I remember we got about 9 days off, something like that. And it was very cold, but it was a great year. The fans supporting us from day one. And believe it or not, today I watched a lot of you guys game on TV, and
really, we're pretty good, aren't we? We're great.
Still full house.
Yeah.
Love it there. Great place to play baseball.
Here's the 1-0 to Rajay Davis, who slaps it back out of play, 1-1.
Coach, I know you had a special relationship with Mr. Ilitch. Talk about that relationship and how special he was to you while he was in Detroit.
Very, very special. You know, last time I went to Detroit, was you know, a few months ago. You know, I went to his suite and to his office, and we talked. He looks good.
Yeah.
He's in great shape. You know, good to see him. He's doing better. But the relationship that I got with Mr. Ilitch was tremendous. You know, he loves baseball. He loves sports, and he wants to win. And when you have an owner that loves to win, he's going to put a good team in the field every day, and that's what he did since I got there in 2004. You know, he signed me, and then he brought Maglio and Carlos Guillen, and then you know, Polanco, and then we become a great team. You know, but I think all start with the office, Mr. Ilitch, with Dombrowski, all the personnel, all the guys that make this team happen. You know, all started from the office, and he did a great job.
Do you ever stop to think about what you accomplished in the big league? 21 years, 14 All-Stars, 13 Gold Gloves, MVP, World Series champion. But do you ever just kind of pause and kind of reflect on what you did?
Pretty cool to see.
It's pretty cool. I'm glad we can show it to you.
I say, yeah. I think you know, all that is just a matter of the way I take care of myself all my career. You know, my discipline as you know, the work ethic. You know, keeping myself in shape and go out there and perform, play hard every single day. And you know, I was a player that I don't like to sit down on the bench. I want to be always behind the plate, playing baseball. And the most important to me is just win ball game. And when you play hard for 27 outs, you know, you're going to end out getting these kind of numbers, and I'm glad that I have that.
Pudge, do you stay in touch with Maglio and Guillen and Polanco at all?
No, he's been too busy as a governor over there. No, I haven't heard from him. Polanco, yeah, a few times I've been talking to him. Not Guillen either. I think those guys are back home, right, in Venezuela. Yeah. And I know from Carlos Guillen that we have a great baseball academy in Venezuela, and teaching kids and preparing kids to come here and become professional baseball players.
3-2 on Rajay Davis here with 2 outs in the third. And a foul back.
Pudge, how about you? What do you want to do in the game? I mean, obviously you're doing some television work. You're down in the dugout. You're upstairs with the general managers. I mean, what do you want to do in the game?
I like what I'm doing right now. I think it's
you got a pretty good gig, don't you?
You know, I always, Rob, you know, I always want to be in the game, even though that I'm doing all the stuff outside of the baseball field. But you know, baseball to me, is in the blood, and let's see what happens down the road. You know, it's still still plenty of me in baseball. I think I can bring a lot into the game of baseball as far as my experience in my 21-year career, and I think I can help I can help a lot of teams win ball games and win.
We're going to take one look at this base hit by Rajai Davis. Outstanding at bat by Rajai. But have you had a chance to watch the youngster James McCann at all, the Tigers' young rookie catcher who's not made an error all year this year?
Great. That's great to see that. You know, I believe it or not, Rob, I've been watching him here for the last few days, and it's great. What I like to see always from catcher is the way they receive in the baseball. They need to have a very soft hands to receive the ball and bring a lot of baseball back into the strike zone. And to me, you know, when you have a catcher that do that, you know, that to me, you know, I can tell that he's going to be a great catcher. And plus, he's got a pretty decent bat too. You know, he hit the ball with power all over the fields, and you know, I'm glad that you guys have a very good young catcher in your organization for a lot of years.
He's got real nice aptitude as well. He's shown some leadership skills too for being a very young guy.
You know, that's good. You know, as long as he has the attitude and the passion and the love and care to win for your team, for his team. You know, that's what catcher does. You know, that we study the game so much, and one of the important positions in baseball, you know, there's a catcher. And you have a guy like that, they care for all that. I mean, he's going to make the team a lot better.
Well, you got to the big leagues at 19. You were one of those catchers that was a little bit different because you were a very, very, very good offensive catcher. But when young guys get to the big leagues at that position, how much do they need to concentrate first on learning that position and handling the pitching staff?
Well, I think you have to separate two things. Offense is one game, and defense is another one. You cannot bring those two into catching or hitting, because if you do, you're not going to end up doing any of the job good. To me, I always a player that focus on catching, defense, calling great game, make sure the pitcher that I'm working with feels comfortable with me behind the plate, and that makes my job a lot easier when we have that chemistry between the pitcher and the catcher always there good, because you know the most important thing, the most important in the game is the catcher and pitcher, because if you have a good chemistry between the pitcher and catcher, you're going to win a lot of games to your team. And to me, that's why, you know, I take a lot of pride in my defense. I never think about offense. I just go and take 4 at-bats and put the ball in play. You know, I got a great career also as an offensive player, but I never was a player to think about a lot about hitting the baseball. You see ball and hit it. That was my philosophy.
Well, yeah, because you're ultra talented. It was easy for you to just see ball and hit it.
I always say, you know, if I can reach it from in front of me to the outside part of the bat, I can reach my bat, I'll be swinging it.
Ian Kinsler, the batter, he's run the count now to 3-0 against Gallardo.
Plus, when you caught, when there was a base runner on first base like Rajai Davis, would it cause you as a catcher to call certain pitches to maybe give you a better opportunity to throw them out?
Yeah, you have to call all the pitches. You know, you cannot stay only the fastball, because he's a fast guy. You know, they have the coaches in the bench. They're going to give you a quick pitch or throw the ball over or pitch out, but you have to stay with your game plan. It doesn't matter who's running. Obviously, you have to prepare, you know, and anticipate that in any pitch. For example, Rajai is going to go. I was that kind of catcher that I always prepare, always anticipate every single pitch that he's going to run, and also as well, you know, if Giovanni throws the ball in there, I'll be ready for it.
3 balls, 1 strike on Kinsler, and Rajai again draws another throw. Well, you mentioned Jeff Bannister a little bit earlier. He's done a terrific job with this team, man. You guys are in pretty good shape right now. Yeah,
we are. You know, they're playing great. These kids are, you know, these guys are, you know, comfortable part, ready to play every day, hard, and you know that's why they are 2 games in first place. I think as long as they stay.
How about that throw?
As long as they stay positive and stay, you know, keep playing the way they are, they're going to be okay.
Pudge, always good to see you, my friend. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over. All right,
thanks for the knowledge.
Thank you.
We'll be back to Arlington in a 2-2 game.
in the American League has stolen more, but Chirinos, man, did he throw a clothesline down to second base. Rajay with a real good jump, and it looked like to me, Mario, he was indecisive as to whether he was going to slide feet first or go head first like he always does, and he slid rather late.
Agreed. You'll see right there there's a little bit of an indecision.
If he slides head first, he might have been able to get there under the tag of Odor, who basically had to dive to tag him.
Good throw nonetheless by Chirinos, and so it remains 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the third here in Arlington.
That was good stuff with Pudge Rodriguez.
Always good to catch up with the, I would dare to say, future Hall of Famer.
Whoa, you think?
2017 he is eligible. Here's a strike call.
He absolutely loved playing in Detroit. He loved putting on a show, and Tigers fans would always show up, especially after he put on the old English D.
Now Boyd with the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Pudge spent parts of 5 years as a member of the Tigers, 13 with the Rangers, spent a couple of years with a few other teams, Washington, New York, Houston, Florida.
Yep, won that World Series with the Florida Marlins in 2003.
Now the 0-2. Ball high, 1-2.
Not a bad pitch there by Boyd. And change the eye level, go upstairs to see if you can Chirinos to leave the strike zone.
Pulled foul, third base side.
Boyd's got to get that changeup down at the bottom of the strike zone. McCann called for it, but he wants him to bury it. But he leaves it up, and he leaves it right over the heart of the plate.
He had a 1-2-3 second. Chirinos is playing with a torn tendon in his left shoulder. They're running him out today because they need to make sure he'll be healthy enough to play in the postseason. Whether or not they want to put him on the postseason roster should the Rangers get there, and it certainly looked good for that. But that's where the postseason differs from September baseball, where you can carry just about as many as you want on your bench. They want to make sure he is healthy. And he's already thrown a runner out here tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Chirinos. DeShields, the top of the order, waiting on deck. Full count now, 3-2. Boyd surrendered the 2-run homer to Beltre in the first inning after the Tigers had given him a 2-0 lead. But he has shut the door since. Drilled toward left center field. Davis on the run. He will look up, and that ball going to bounce into the seats and gone. It's a home run for Robinson Chirinos on a 3-2 pitch, number 10 on the season. A 7-pitch at bat results in a homer.
Boyd was able to get ahead of Chirinos. No balls and 2 strikes. Chirinos worked the count back to his favor. Got himself an 88-mile-per-hour 2-seamer that was fading away from him. And Boyd now has given up 16 home runs on the season combined between 2 teams, Toronto and Detroit.
And the Rangers have their first lead of the night. It's now 3-2 Texas as DeShields pops one up foul, back out of play.
How about Chirinos? So he makes an outstanding throw to throw out Rajay Davis to end the top half of the third inning, and then he plays long ball.
Look, he's already back down in the dugout.
Yeah, already downstairs. That'll keep you young, though. You know, Pudge is still able to put the uniform on. He's still able to go upstairs and talk to John Daniels, the general manager. So he's going to be well-rounded as to doing whatever he wants to do in the game of baseball. And, of course, his resume as far as what he did on the field is second to none to most catchers that have ever played the game.
Well, these Rangers, again, need every win here down the stretch. They came in with a lead in the West of 2 games. The Angels are trailing tonight. They were in second place. 3-2 is that score. Missing low. 2 balls, 1 strike. That home run went 414 feet. The distance on the Chirinos long ball. Popped up. Right at the plate. Avila coming in from first, and it's going to drop. It is a foul ball. That is the second time that has happened in this series.
That ball wasn't that far away from James McCann. I'm not sure until we see a replay whether he was able to see it or not. But Avila comes all the way from first base. Let me see McCann. Does he see it? Yeah, Alex was calling it all the way.
Isn't that always an easier play, though, for an infielder?
And not when it's that close to home plate. Typically, absolutely. Yeah, but that ball was only 6-7 feet from home plate.
And I think they're trying to decide whether or not it was fair or foul.
Looked like it was foul.
Bannister coming out, and the umpire is convening now. I thought it was foul, too. But it took them a while to make the signal. Yeah, well, didn't kick up chalk, did it? Doesn't touch the glove.
Nope. And it doesn't appear to get chalk either. Or paint, whatever they use these days for the baseline. Jeff Bannister, we were talking about him earlier. He just looks like a big league manager, doesn't he?
He does. He's got that look.
Like an old school big league manager.
He's got that demeanor.
He's battled a lot in his life. He is very thankful to be where he is today.
Boy, this is a long conversation here. Tom Hallion is the home plate umpire. And he is the original umpire that called it a foul ball. Hallion is also the crew chief. And after conferring, they're saying foul ball. So it's new life for DeShields. He is still alive. The ball clearly hit Avila.
But this was after the ball was in foul territory. And Alex was in foul territory when the ball hit him.
Bannister may not like the answer, but he's going to accept it, apparently. So it's 2-2 on Delino DeShields. It's fouled back out of play. They're going to give Avila an error on that play, E3. So the Tigers' defensive woes continue. And it's really atypical, Ron, of the way they played defensively all season long. It's just down the stretch here. They've made a lot of miscues.
Yeah, they haven't performed very well defensively.
Full count now, 3-2.
Got some guys playing out of position. Avila's not normally a first baseman, although he's handled himself adequately at that position. Of course, they've been missing their everyday shortstop for about a month now as well in the Iglesias.
Bouncing ball to third. Castellanos dug out there nicely by Avila.
Real nice pick by Alex.
One away, time for a game break. Matt Shepard. All right, Shep, so the Twins not going away.
Yeah, we were talking about that a couple of innings ago, all the parity in the game today. Minnesota would fall into that category, a team that doesn't have a huge payroll, but yet knocking on the door to October baseball.
Shin-Soo Choo, the batter. Choo with a single and a run scored. He came around on the two-run shot by Beltre in the first inning.
And here's one more look at that real nice pick by Avila on the ball thrown across the diamond from Castellanos. DeShields can really run.
stroke toward the shortstop. Nice backhanded play by Romine. Ball sharply hit with some spin on it.
When you play the shortstop or the third base position, or really any infield position, when the ball's hit that sharply, you have to decide what you're going to do. Am I going to come in and get it, or am I going to back up to get the best hop possible? Romine decides to back up 2 steps, gets that real nice Sunday hop, and then makes a real nice firm throw across the diamond. That's one of the things that Romine does very well at whichever infield position he's played, and he's had starts at every infield position. He always stays in a very athletic position on the balls of his feet.
A couple of ground ball outs after the Chirinos homer. Here's Beltre.
Chew barreling up everything these days, isn't he?
Even the outs are balls that look like will be hits. Drilled to center field. Goes on the move. Still going back. Trapped to the wall. It bounces up against the wall. And Beltre is aboard at second base. Ball gets away, backed up by Boyd. And Beltre will hold.
That is the 30th two-bagger of the season for Adrian Beltre, and we told you earlier he just wears out Tigers pitching. He homered his last time up. This time a fastball down that he goes down to get, hits right over the head of Anthony Gose.
Fortunately, Boyd was able to back up, keeping Beltre at second base. Here is Prince Fielder. Fielder flying to left field his only time up, 0 for 1. Four for 7 in the series for Fielder, who is gaining on 100 RBIs as well. He needs 5 more, and should he reach that plateau, it would be the 7th time in his career. He's playing to pull on the infield. .308 batting average for Prince.
One of the things that Prince Fielder started doing very well a few years ago when he put on the Tigers uniform, he started driving some balls the opposite way. And you can see that Prince Fielder has 49 hits the opposite way. Tigers are over shifting him in the infield, but it's not foreign for him to go that way with runners in scoring position. He hit 300 his first year in the Tigers uniform by hitting a lot of balls the opposite direction.
Boyd staying away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Home run by Chirinos, 2 out, doubled by Beltre. We're in the 3rd here in Arlington.
But the reason why the Tigers are playing the shift on Prince Fielder is because when he hits the ball on the ground, he usually rolls over to the right side of the infield.
To center field, goes on the charge. It's going to drop, base hit. That'll get a run in. Beltre scores from second. Prince Fielder with a bloop single and an RBI.
And let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch. Prince Fielder has been on a torrid pace at driving in runs in the month of September. And he does it against left-handers as well as right-handers. He takes the first pitch strike, then he fouls off one. Now it's 0-2. And now he kind of goes into his emergency stance, where he's not going to take a big swing. A good breaking ball by Boyd off the end of the bat by Fielder for a base hit and an RBI.
Here's Mike Napoli. He drives one deep, way back to left, and that ball is gone.
That's why they got Napoli.
Rangers are flexing their muscles tonight. Third home run of the night for Texas.
Fans on a curtain call.
They are chanting his name.
Napoli, they're saying.
Tigers at one point led 2-0. It's been all Texas since.
And we told you that one of the reasons why they acquired Napoli from the Boston Red Sox in August was the fact that they needed some help against left-handed pitching because they're dominant with left-handed batters. And boy, has he provided that spark for them. Ooh, 104.
Oh.
Rajay didn't move.
There's that presence we talked about in the middle of their lineup. Napoli hits his 18th, and now it's 6-2 Rangers. Here's Mitch Moreland. Shift is on for Moreland to the right of second base. He flied out to left in his only at bat. Action in the Tigers bullpen. The right-hander Farrell warming up. Drill to right center field. That'll get down. Base hit right in front of Ghost. And that's 4 straight hits now for Texas. It'll bring up Elvis Andrus. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning. To say the Rangers are a quick strike offense might be an understatement. Based on what we've seen in this series, Tigers have let several leads get away quickly.
And James McCann was sent to the mound to buy a little time for the bullpen to get hot. It is now 17 homers that Boyd has given up and 57 innings pitched this year. 6 of the 17 the left-handed batters.
That'll be the last batter he faces. Brad making his way out to the mound. They will bring in Farrell. And so Boyd will go 2 2/3 in this game. Wallside windows pitching change. We're back to Arlington in a moment. Why a lot of runs are scored in this ballpark. In fact, the 3rd most per game in baseball.
It's not a shocker that Coors Field's at the top of that list. And Fenway Park, they've always got a really good offensive squad. Camden Yards, Progressive Field. I guess I'm not shocked at any of the names on that list.
Well, the Tigers have gone to the bullpen early again here tonight. And Jeff Farrell, the right-hander, coming out of the pen.
And Farrell pitching in his 8th game in a Tigers uniform, logging 8 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 3 base on balls for Jeff Farrell.
Here's the 8th man to bat in the inning. That is Elvis Andrus with 1 on and 2 out. Strike 1 on Andrus. He popped up to the second baseman, his first at bat. Ripped to third. Nice play by Castellanos. That'll end the inning. A big inning, though. They hit a couple of home runs, scored 4 times. 6-2 Rangers.
The Tigers on the board first with a base hit. He drove in 2. That was in the first frame, but it didn't take Texas long to count. Adrian Beltre with a 2-run shot in the first inning as well. Then in the third inning, it's Chirinos. And with a solo shot, he led off the inning. And then it's Napoli. And Napoli, boy, did he lift and separate on one. That's a big fly there.
Total it all up, and the Rangers have a 6-2 lead now. Some changes for Texas. Will Venable is the new left fielder, replacing Napoli. So Napoli's work here is done, apparently. We're walking a home run. Ball is hit toward the right field corner, slicing, but caught by Chu.
Jeff Bannister spent some time in the Pittsburgh Pirates uniform, and they're heavy in the analytics in Pittsburgh, and they had some analytics going here as well in Texas, but I'm sure he brought some of that, what he learned in Pittsburgh, here as well. That's one of the reasons why they play that platoon in left field. They do a lot of things here, just like some of the other teams that rely heavily on that statistical data. Tigers are going to be a team like that in the future. They're going to start to pay a little bit more attention to the analytics as well.
Here is J.D. Martinez. I really don't think you have a choice these days, do you?
Well, it's just kind of odd, though. I mean, I know everybody's into the numbers, but it's still the eye test. I mean, there's still the guys have to go out and play. So I just hope that they find that balance between the numbers and what the scouts are really able to do by getting out and really seeing a guy, looking a guy in an eye, and talking to him and finding out more about him versus just numbers.
And I think when we had Alavila in the booth the other day back home, he indicated they're certainly not going to walk away from their scouting department. That's still a very big part of what they're going to do. They will beef that up in the coming year as well.
I think in the next couple of years, we're going to hear some Tigers people talking about we acquired this particular pitcher because of his spin rate on his fastball, and he pitches well in this particular ballpark. It's coming.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. So it's gone 3-1 now on Martinez.
I just hope they don't replace the announcers.
There's got to be some analytics out there for announcers too. Here's the 3-1 pitch.
JD
hammered to left field, and Martinez hits another ball really hard.
Yes, he does.
That is his second hit, a single to go with his double.
We're talking about JD Martinez and the fact that he hits the ball hard just about every time he puts it in play. 42% of the time he leads the major leagues with hard hit balls in play. And check out the league average, just 28.7. That's a big difference.
And 2 more hard hit balls tonight. Here's Tyler Collins. Collins tonight responsible for the 2 Tigers runs, a 2-run single in the first.
Would that qualify as a sabermetrics type deal, Mario?
I think so. Yeah, no question.
So you college educated cat. Yeah, man, you can help me out with this.
Stick with me, I'll let you know. Yeah. 0-1 the count. There's a strike called. 0-2. Collins now 22 RBIs on the year. Just pretty good month of September for Tyler.
Just to give you an idea on the hit speed on that base hit by JD Martinez, it was 106. And the ball that Napoli hit out of the ballpark was just 104.
Strike call. Tom Hallion rings him up. Strikeout for Gallardo.
There's that big bender and that he will lay right over the heart of the dish every now and then. Collins looked like he was tracking it every step of the way, but just could not pull the trigger.
Now Castellanos with 2 outs. 6 runs, 7 hits for Texas. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers. Final game in this series. Strike 1. Single back in the second for Castellanos. Well, we know the Rangers certainly have plenty of offense. Will they have enough pitching? That is the big question. Gallardo certainly is a guy that has had a lot of success in the past, but his September has not been a good one.
Cole Hamels did not look like a #1 last night either. I mean, if you start game 1 for you, they've got to get more out of what they got last night from Hamels.
Now, the back end of that bullpen looks pretty fearsome and formidable, but you got to get to that point. 2-1 the count. Rangers in this game today have again used their offense with 3 home runs. Beltre, Napoli, and Chirinos.
And Castellanos in a real nice friendly fastball count. 2 balls, 1 strike. He's a career 3 for 4 against Gallardo.
Gallardo in the month of September has an ERA of 5.18, and that was after a spectacular August in which he went 4-0 with an ERA under 2. But here in September, he's not gone deep into games. He's about to throw his 60th pitch. Drilled toward left field. It is sinking, and that ball is going to be caught on the run by Venable. No runs a hit for the Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 4th in Arlington. League wild card would be the Yankees and the Angels. And Texas KC would square off. The Blue Jays would wait for the winner of the Yankees-Angels. That's how the American League looks. National League, Dodgers, Mets, and Pirates, Cubs would play to face St. Louis.
That's going to be an awesome playing game, that wild card game in Pittsburgh. Cannot wait for that Dodgers New York Mets series with Kershaw, Greinke, DeGrom, Harvey. Oh my goodness.
You know,
it's going to be a good series.
It's going to be great. But that Pirates Cubs series is a shame. It's only going to be a one-game series.
It is a shame. It is probably going to be a Cole against Arrieta.
Yeah. You can't get much better than that.
Must see TV.
Rougned Odor leads it off. Odor and then Chirinos and DeShields. Rangers 6, Tigers 2. We're in the bottom of the 4th here in Arlington. Jeff Farrell back home, missing high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1 on Odor. Boyd struck him out in the 2nd, but Boyd had to leave in the 3rd after he gave up a couple of home runs. And 4 runs in that inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Rougned Odor. There's Chirinos on deck. Oh, where was it? 95.
Yeah, he reached back to get a little extra there. His average heater about 92 miles an hour, but he got to a real nice balanced spot. Got on top of it, threw it straight downhill with maximum velocity. Didn't miss by much.
To center field for Anthony Gose. 1 gone.
Menards brings you the big money encounter. And Chirinos in the 3rd inning to end that frame threw out Rajay Davis attempting to steal a bag. And I mean, he threw a clothesline down to Odor. And then he led off the inning. He led up with 0-2 count. Worked it to 3-2 before finally homering for the 10th time this season.
You know what makes Chirinos an interesting story is the fact that he spent 11 years in the minor leagues before he ever got a shot to play in the major leagues.
Oh, that's perseverance there.
Finally, Tampa gave him an opportunity a couple of years ago, but 11 minor league seasons. Lots of bus rides. Lots of fast food, too. Driven to right field and caught there by Tyler Collins. 2 up, 2 down. Well, Detroit Tigers game-used items, including bases, bats, and jerseys, are on sale now. All items are authenticated by Major League Baseball. Call 313-471-2064 or visit tigers.com/authentics. Here's DeShields. Delino, a ground-out strikeout. DeShields now just 1 for 9 in the series.
DeShields is at his best when he's hitting the ball on the ground. You brought it up earlier, 11 bunt base hits. Hits lots of line drives, but he's hitting the ball in the air quite a bit in this series. Therefore, just 1 for 9.
When I was in the minor leagues, I was broadcasting in A-ball, and Delino DeShields Sr. was on one of the teams I was broadcasting for, and it only means one thing.
No, don't say it.
I'm old.
Don't say it.
Because this is his son. That's rolled toward 3rd foul.
Well, you probably had to broadcast the game that Prince was in at some point in time, too, right? I mean, not Prince, but Cecil, right?
Not Cecil.
No?
No. Well, yes, actually, yes. He was with the Angels when I first got with the Angels. So, yeah, so now I'm doubly old. Thanks for that.
There's a few more. If I stick around, I'll get a few more for you.
You could. Yeah, Cecil was with the Angels in the mid-90s, now that I think about it. He was still playing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Farrell has retired 3 straight since coming on, trying to get his 4th here to Shields.
And he's looked good doing so. A good firm fastball tonight by Farrell. He's gotten all the way up to 95. Changeup there. He likes his changeup a lot. Fastball, slider, changeup.
Shin-Soo Choo waiting on deck. 6-2 Rangers lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th. And he lost him. 2-out walk for to Shields. It'll bring up Choo. Single and a ground out for Shin-Soo Choo, plus a run scored. Choo earlier this year hit for the cycle. In fact, a couple of the Rangers have done that. Beltre hit for his 3rd cycle earlier this season. Ball 1. Kind of surprised we haven't seen more Tigers cycles based on the ballpark the Tigers playing at home. I mean, that's a big triples ballpark.
Yeah, because the triple usually is the toughest one to get all the time.
Runner draws a throw. Choo now has hit safely in 8 consecutive ball games. His torrid month of September continues. He came in .410 this month. Ball low. You got to go back, as a matter of fact, to August of '06. Carlos Guillen had the last cycle for the Tigers.
And Choo's got to be the leader in the clubhouse for Player of the Month in the American League with the impressive month that he had in September.
Drill down the right field line. Collins is on the run. He'll get there. To the corner he goes. And that'll end the inning. No runs. They get a walk and strand him in. When we come back, Craig Monroe joins us in the booth. It's 6-2 Rangers. fifth inning. Mario and Pemba, Rhode Island. Craig Monroe is on this road trip with us. Simo joining us in the booth now. And Simo, we were talking a little bit earlier about the fact this Rangers team, man, they are a quick strike offense.
Yes, they definitely are. They don't quit. They're putting together some solid at bats. They made a couple mistakes, and they really capitalized. 2 changeups left up. Napoli hit an absolute bomb to left center, and Beltre did the same in the first inning. He's just got to locate better, but he's got good stuff.
Yeah, those guys have made a living doing that against left-handed pitching, Beltre and Napoli.
Alex Avila will lead things off here in the 5th inning for the Tigers, and Avila looks at strike 1.
This has to be a special place for you to come to at any point in time, Craig, I would imagine. You made your major league debut right here in this ballpark, didn't you?
I did, and it is special. Every time I get a chance to come back and be at the ballpark, it reminds me of that first big league home run that I've got. My first big league hit was to right field. I actually went to the dugout, the Rangers dugout today, and just kind of relived it. Walked up the stairs and, yeah, just kind of took a deep breath like, wow, I got a chance to play out there. It's pretty exciting.
Who was that first big league homer against?
It was against Joe Kennedy of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time.
Big lefty, right?
Big lefty.
Swing and a miss by Avila.
Good change piece there thrown by Gallardo. His fastball's gotten up to about 91. He's used that curveball very effectively, but a real nice change piece here.
Avila fly to right field is only time up. Tigers led 2-0 after 1/2, and then it's been all Rangers since. Gallardo missing low. We were given the stat a little while ago that Gallardo really hadn't stuck around very long in ball games. He has not pitched more than 6 innings in a start since June the 27th. And he is only here starting the 5th inning tonight. He has thrown 64, so his pitch count decent shape. And Avila waiting on the 2-2. 3-2. McCann and then Romine to follow here in the 5th inning.
And ratio not great for Gallardo, but he's been effective. And the only blemish was the 2 runs the Tigers put up in the very first frame. And that's kind of strange for Gallardo because for the most part he's been pretty good this year with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. One of the best in baseball.
Ground ball first base side, foul. Simo, Rod and I were talking about this the other night, and anytime Texas is in a pennant race, you really kind of marvel at it because of the intense heat here during the summer and how you've got to do different things to kind of stay fresh. What did you have to do here in the really hot summer months?
Well, you basically don't take batting practice on the field every single day, and the guys didn't, the Rangers didn't take batting practice on the field today. They simply hit in the batting cage, and you have to do that occasionally because it is, Mario, it is hot, it gets humid, and guys are losing a lot of weight, complaining.
How about fluids and getting your rest too?
Well, you got to make sure you do that.
3-2, the count stays on Avila. Yet the Rangers have had some teams that recently have done some pretty good things. They went to back-to-back World Series under Ron Washington. That was in 2010, 2011. Went back to the postseason the very next year in 2012, but haven't been there since. And Avila takes his walk. The leadoff man is on. So Gallardo issues a base on ball and still face McCann now. McCann knocked into a double play back in the second. He's 0 for 1. James batting .265, trying to put the finishing touches, guys, on what has been a spectacular rookie season. If you were to say the one thing, Simo, that maybe McCann has learned the most about big league life here this year, what do you think it would be?
I think it would be the approach. You have to have a solid approach at the plate every single time that you take, you step into that batter's box. And I think he's done an outstanding job of that this year, Mario. I love the fact that he has the ability to drive the ball the opposite way now, and he's driving the opposite way with a lot of, authority.
He's also really done a good job of learning to handle the pitching staff. And Brad's always talking about framing pitches and how that has become an art that he is kind of grasped and is becoming better at. And that only comes through time. 0-2 the count.
He's very athletic, too, behind the plate. Shows great athleticism. Throws well. It's the nickname, McCannon. I don't know who came up with that, Rob, but I like it.
0-2. And a bounce in and blocked by Chirinos. Avila leading things off with a walk here in the 5th. Romine will be next. Tigers an off day tomorrow. Then it's Chicago Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to wrap up the season. Pull to left. That's a base hit. Can has a single, putting 2 aboard.
See, it appears that the Tigers have some pretty good young players here. You've got Daniel Norris, you've got Fulmer. We haven't seen him yet. They shut him down because of the innings. But, of course, you've got Castellanos, McCann, Stephen Moya. You have Boyd. We don't have Iglesias on the list, but he's very young as well as some of the youth in the next generation of Tiger players. Iglesias is 25 years old, too.
Well, as much as you hate to lose Cespedes and you hated to lose David Price at the trade deadline, the organization needed some arms. And give Dave Dombrowski, even though now he's in Boston, give him some credit, though. He went out and acquired some quality arms, especially 2 big-time lefties, as far as I'm concerned, with good plus fastballs that gets up to 95 miles per hour. Obviously, command has been an issue for both of those young men, but they're young and they're still developing. And I think that the ceiling is so high.
The one thing that you always want to do, and I know Dave Dombrowski was this one, I know Al Avila is going to be the same way as well. You want to stockpile as much pitching as possible because everybody always needs pitching, and it's really the toughest thing to get at the trade deadline when you're in the hunt unless you overpay for it. So if you have a lot of that pitching, then you can make whatever deals you want to make to get a big bat if you need a big bat.
Well, that's how you win championships. They talk about pitching and defense. Tigers defense in 2015 has been pretty solid.
Romine looks at a strike. 1-1. Well, let me ask you guys this. Norris left-handed, Boyd left-handed. And how critical in your minds is it to have a left-hander or 2 in your rotation?
If they're talented, I'd love to have a left-hander in the rotation, especially going up against some teams that are left-handed dominant as far as the bats are concerned. You can definitely slow down some good teams and their big left-handed bats. It's not vital, but I do like the idea of having at least 1 left-hander, possibly 2 in a rotation.
Well, I think it's important to have a couple of them in there, too. But I also think they have to be different. I'm okay with having a flame-throwing left-hander, but then I like the soft-throwing guy that just relies on location and command, changing speeds. I feel like those guys have the opportunity to pitch deep into games. Not overpowering.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and as Gallardo wanted that last one but didn't get it, there is activity in the bullpen. That's Bollendorf, the right-hander, warming up. Lopstein has been warming up for Detroit. 2-2 on Andrew Romine. Missed it away. 3-2. Nobody out here with runners at first and second. Ghost waiting on deck.
And runners will not be taking off here on the 3-2 pitch. I bet Mario's house on that.
Awfully nice of you, Rod. Swing and a foul. Thank you. They weren't running.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, it is. But you know what?
I'm sorry,
I wasn't going to give up my crib now.
It's a nightly occurrence, Seymour.
Oh, man.
That is wrong.
Your house? He can't bet your house.
He just did.
He did.
He didn't have to give it up, though.
No, he didn't.
Romine swings and misses, and Gallardo strikes him out, 1 away. That'll be the 5th strikeout now for the Rangers righty. Saturday, the postseason races are coming down to the wire, starting on Fox with a battle for control of the National League wild card between the Pirates and Cubs. Then the Brewers take on the NL Central leading Cardinals in a game you can see only on FS1. Coverage starts Saturday at 12:30 on Fox and continues at 6:30 p.m. on FS1. Here's Anthony Gose.
After watching Gose, Craig, for an entire year, and you played some center field as well in your career. How's he been out in center field? I mean, is he taking the proper routes? Is he doing the necessary things that he needs to do out there to become a really good defender?
I think so, right? I like what Gose has done this season. I do feel like he can be better at route taking, but I think because he's so fast, I feel like he has that makeup speed, so he doesn't always take the right route. And he's blessed. He's blessed to be able to have that kind of makeup speed. I wasn't that fortunate. I had to make sure I took the right route to the baseball.
How do you get to the point of where you take good routes out there?
Well, it starts in batting practice, reading balls off the bat, both left-handed and right-handers. I had an opportunity to talk to Jim Edmonds in spring training the year that they put me in center field, and I was going to be the starter in center field. And I want to believe it was in 04, 05, 04, I want to believe. And he simply told me to go ahead and batting practice and read the bat angles. You know, when your righty's up there, make sure that you read the angle. If the bat head is way out front, he has to be pulling that ball. You can start to cheat and go towards left center.
The chopper slowly towards second. Tag made there, and a double play.
That's a mistake by James McCann. He can't run into that out.
Odor turns the 4-3 twin killing. Tigers turned away. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
Odor coming to the baseline, and he's about to tag you. You don't have to wait there patiently for him to tag you because he's in the baseline. If you chose to do so, you could simply run him over or make sure that you disrupt him enough to not to be able to turn this ball over with Gose running down the line, and you wouldn't have had to do very much because Gose is so fast, but you can't just let him tag you like that and complete the double play, not when he's in your baseline.
Meanwhile, Adrian Beltre leads it off here in the bottom of the 5th. So it was looking promising for the Tigers to get back into the game. A walk and a single, but a strikeout and a double play into the inning. Beltre, Fielder, Venable here in the 5th inning. There's Kyle Lobstein tuning up in the Detroit bullpen. He'll be next. Tigers once again had to go to the bullpen early in this game. Farrell came on in the 3rd. Here's the 1-2. High fly ball. Center field for Ghosts. One gone.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity. A top fastball thrown by Farrell. He threw that last inning. It was 95. 75 with a breaking ball.
Now Prince Fielder. Fielder singled in a run in the 3rd, now has 96 RBIs. We'll shoot that one back a short. Going to drop into left center field, base hit.
He is so strong, man. Even when he gets jammed, he just fights it off.
He's locked in too, Rod, this year. Coming back, coming back from that neck injury.
And good fastball by Farrell in on Prince. Uppercut swing fought off for a solid, well, not solid single, but a base hit.
He's solid in the box score.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
I like how he pulled the hands inside right there, Rod.
Pitching change, wall side windows. Pitching change. Here comes Lobstein.
His 11th start in left field since being acquired from the Boston Red Sox, and he homered to left field. And I mean, he hit it a long, long way before departing this game against Matthew Boyd.
Well, the Tigers are back at the bullpen now. Kyle Lobstein, the left-hander, will check into the game.
Napoli showed off his strength with that homer.
Here are the numbers on Lobstein. And the first man he will face is Venable. He came on as a defensive replacement for Napoli. Venable batting $190. Fouled away 0-1.
Brad Ausmus knows a lot about Venable. And when Brad was working in the front office with the San Diego Padres, Venable was a real good outfielder for them. He's had a very difficult season this season, however.
They're also fellow Ivy Leaguers.
Oh, they have that in common.
Venable went to Princeton. And in fact, at Princeton, not only was an all-league baseball player, but all-league in basketball as well. Yeah.
Well, good for him.
So the only other guy that can claim that, in the Ivy League at least, is Chris Young.
Yeah. He looks more like a basketball player.
Right. He's about, what, 6'10"?
You're right. Venable's dad played in the big leagues too, Max.
Pulled to right field on a line, right at Collins. 2 outs. We'll bring up Mitch Moreland. Well, Lobstein, it's been a difficult year for him because of the injury, the shoulder strain that he had. And, you try and get back as quickly as you can. You may not be, 100%. I think Lobstein wanted to get out there and at least get some innings under his belt.
Yeah, he struggled, though, a little bit. He's not overpowering, Mario, but he does move the baseball around the strike zone. But for whatever reason this year, command has been a big issue. And we continue to talk about command with these young pitchers. And maybe we've been a little bit too hard on them. These guys they're still developing. But you expect at this level that they're able to command the strike zone right with all of their pitches. And unfortunately for Lobstein, he hasn't really been able to do that this year.
Mario, you bring up a great point regarding Lobstein wanting to get back on the mound. And before season's end, that's very important for a pitcher. It's very important for the front office staff. It's very important for the coaching staff. You want to see a guy healthy and on the mound before the season's over. That way you kind of know going into the offseason if you need to do something with him or not, if he needs more rehabilitation or if he needs to strengthen the shoulder.
That ball will get away from McCann. He'll throw down a second anyway and get him standing up. Prince.
We talked about Prince and some of his base running extravaganzas last night.
There's another one.
To Prince Fielder getting thrown out here, not making the right decision here. McKinnon pulling out the hose and throwing Prince Fielder out at second base. And look at the reaction from Punch Rodriguez.
The whole dugout.
It says it all. Then what were you thinking? Well, if you're going to go, you got to go immediately. You know what kind of arm this young man has behind the plate?
Yeah, Belcher threw a cup at him.
McCann could have pulled out the McPistol. It's still gotten him there. 6-2 is our score as we go now to the 6th inning. It'll be Rajai Davis to lead it off. Davis, Kinsler, and Martinez against Gallardo. 6 runs on 8 hits for Texas. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Tigers tonight. Rajai single and a strikeout in this game. Pulled hard to third. Beltre knocks it down. Has time. Got him.
Ooh, he's got a hold.
Oh, man. How did he get that much on that throw?
He throws flat-footed, Mario, and we talked about it last night. I mean, that was an absolute rocket hit off the bat of Rajai Davis right at Beltre. He knocks it down because he couldn't field it cleanly. And then he goes over, picks it up, and throws flat-footed underneath and accurately with some steam on it over to Moreland to get Rajai Davis.
I think he's so underrated over there at third base, Ron.
You think so?
Yeah,
Underrated?
Underrated. I mean, doesn't get a lot of credit for the glove work. And he picks it over there at third base. One of the best for me.
Yeah, he's won 4 Gold Gloves. And you're
seeing
absolutely
Kinsler.
right. He's very good over there.
Up and in, 1-0.
So, what would it mean to Ian Kinsler to hit over 300 this year?
Well, anytime you can hit over 300, it's special. The greats, that's what they do, the Hall of Famers. They felt, what, 7 out of 10 times if you're great? Well, Kinsler's close. He's hitting, what, 298?
You played against Ian. Did you realize he was as good a player as he has been in a Tigers uniform when you were playing against him when he was wearing that Texas uniform?
Absolutely. I've always admired the way he played the game. I love him at second base, his range.
There's a base hit to center field.
Up to 300.
Up to 300. It just looks good on the board, doesn't it?
Yeah, so much better than 299.
It just
There's
looks
something
better.
about it.
You can negotiate with 300.
Yeah, you can.
And we talked about J.D. Martinez this evening before you came upstairs, and when he puts the ball in play, there's no one that generates as much bat speed as he does. And take a look at the bat speed here in his first 2 plate appearances, 104 and then 106. And these are base hits. Napoli hit a home run about 400 feet, and it was only 104 as far as the hit speed was concerned.
I was down there watching him take batting practice right around the cage and run the sound. You know, we talk about making a loud noise or a different sound. JD's bat makes a different sound when he hits that baseball. I mean, it's loud.
He's got a good night going tonight. A single, a double, and run scored. Martinez becoming the first Tigers outfielder to get 100 RBIs since Maglio did it back in the 08 campaign. And Ordonez that year had 103.
He was joking with me today, telling me that the power, he's looking at his bat, said the power is gone. I go, no, you just went off Hamels just the other day. The power's not gone. He's got a solid approach at the plate.
And another base hit to left. That'll be a 3-for-3 night. So Martinez puts runners at first and second, 1 out. Here you go. Here are the numbers we're talking about. Ordonez has done it 3 times. Higgy twice. And you got to go back a little farther. Steve Kemp, Rusty Staub, LeBron Duran. Remember him? And JD in 2015 this year joining that group.
Doesn't happen very often.
No, that covers 40 seasons right there.
So tough to do. I remember in 2006, Mario, I got to 92. I was on 92 for a long time. And you're trying to get to 100. And that's all you can think about. And then all of a sudden, you just start trying to get to 100, trying to do too much, and obviously never get in there. So for JD to have the mindset to be able to relax in those big situations when guys in scoring position and get the job done is amazing to me.
Harder than it looks. That'll be it for Gallardo, who will surrender the baseball here in the 6th inning to a big round of applause. We'll be back.
the Los Angeles Dodgers and the entire Los Angeles Dodgers organization. They clinched the division in last night's game with one of their aces on the mound, Clayton Kershaw. 13 strikeouts for Kershaw. He only gave up 1 hit in the game to the San Francisco Giants. It's the 3rd consecutive year the Dodgers have gone to postseason play.
It is indeed. They'll be back here again, taking their chances. Andrew Faulkner is on now for Texas.
Yeah, 10th game for Faulkner, logging 9 innings. He's got a 3 ERA. He's got a strikeout pitch, apparently. 10 of those against 2 walks. Number 12 prospect in the Rangers organization.
2 on with 1 out. And the Tigers have Tyler Collins up there. A swing of the first 0-1.
I was talking to Dave Newhan, the assistant hitting instructor for the Detroit Tigers today around the batting cage, Mario, and he talked a lot about Tyler Collins' approach at the plate. As a kid, you talk about skipping the rock on the water, getting into that slot. Well, in baseball terms, it basically gets you on plane and allows you to stay in the strike zone for a very long time, and that's what Tyler Collins has been doing here lately, and he's actually been swinging the bat extremely well.
Yeah, he's up to about 300 in the month of September, close to it. He's been awesome.
He came in at 292 this month, has a 2-run single tonight. He's had 6 doubles, a couple of homers this month.
Big 3-run bomb in the first game. Pulled his hands in extremely nice right on that particular pitch on the inside part of the plate.
It's interesting you say skipping the rock, Simo. And so much of hitting, I guess, when they teach hitting is mental imagery.
Yes,
you know?
and that's what you have to do, because you overthink it, Mario, when you're in the batter's box anyway. So anytime that they can make it simple for you, that's what the hitting instructors try to do.
And a bouncing ball right side. Odor has only 1 play. Thought about throwing it to second. That would have been a difficult play. But they'll get the out. Runners at second and third. 2 away now for Castellanos. Nick in the ball game is 1 for 2. Single flyout. And he's not going to face Faulkner, it appears. Jeff Bannister making his way onto the mound one more time.
Faulkner did his job.
Bannister has yet to signal to the bullpen. They had Ohlendorf warming up. And now he'll make the call. So the Rangers back into the bullpen. We'll be back to Arlington. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Meyer. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas is the site tonight. The Rangers right now holding on to a 6-2 lead as we play in the 6th inning, and Ross Ohlendorf is on now for the Rangers.
And Ohlendorf's fastball will get up to about 92, 93 miles an hour. He also has a slider that he throws about 12% of the time. He'll cut the fastball as well, along with the changeup. No curveball for Ohlendorf.
Ohlendorf at one time was a starter in the Pirates rotation. Now working out of the pen these days for the Rangers.
Well, I'm sure that's where he and his manager's paths are probably crossed in Pittsburgh.
Castellanos the batter. 0-1 on Nick. Tigers tonight are 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Singles by Kinsler and Martinez. They're at second and third now with 2 outs. Thought about it, laid off. Rangers also keeping an eye on that A's Angels score, and the A's lead that one 8-6 in the bottom of the 8th at the Big A. That's a big game for them. They, if they hold on here, can go up 3 games.
The Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners just underway in the Pacific Northwest. And Jeff Bannister, the manager of the Houston Astros, has asked the question, would he be doing a lot of scoreboard watching the next couple of days? He said, no, I've got enough people to tell me what's going on.
Isn't that true?
It's definitely tough not to look back and look at scores. And the guys that say they don't look, they're not being truthful, Mario.
I agree.
They're looking, and I've looked. We all look. Just admit it.
Swing and a miss.
Ooh, nice slide piece.
It's like the guys that say I never read my stats in the paper either.
Right. You know what you're hitting.
Or the managers that say they never read the newspaper.
Real nice breaking ball right there, right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Castellanos swung right over the top of it. And they know Nick's a notorious first ball hitter. And therefore, Ohlendorf started him off with a slider. And he might try to finish him off with that same slider. Ooh, nice emergency hack there.
2-2 on Nick.
Nick's put together some solid at-bats here lately down the stretch for me. Really doing a good job of laying off tough pitches. Early in the season for me, Mario, chasing a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. And I think in his second year, trying to do too much, wanting to live up to the hype, to the expectations. But it seemed like as the season progressed, he really started to slow the game down. And I like where he's at right now.
Well, you could probably point back to that 3-game hiatus that Brad Ausmus gave him. He sat him down for 3 days when he was struggling mightily, and it just kind of gave him a chance to step away from the game and not even think about it, and it seemingly worked.
Well, we had when Rod was in the studio, we had a little chuckle about it. Rod said he got a timeout.
He did.
Brad gave Nick Castellanos a timeout.
Come over and sit next to me for a few days.
A timeout. Here's the 3-2. Pulled to third, and Beltre with a tough hop. And that'll end the threat. Tigers get a couple of hits, lead 2, bottom of the 6th coming up. dot race in all of baseball.
Wow.
They run here and look at Green's having a tough time. Speaking of timeouts, Rod, Blue needs a timeout.
That's for sure.
Pushing. Come on now. And Blue is going to end up winning the dot race here in Arlington. Cheater. 6-2 is our score as we go to the bottom half of the inning now, and the Rangers will send up Mitch Moreland to lead things off. 6 runs on 8 hits for Texas, 2 runs, 9 hits for the Tigers. Moreland a single and a flyout. Pulls that one right into the shift. Nice backhanded play. Castellanos throws him out.
Do it, Nichols.
Shifting from third to short right field to make that play.
The ball hit awfully hard off the bat of Moreland. And about 4 or 5 steps to the right by Castellanos. Has to leave his feet, but he gets up in a hurry and fires a strike to Avila to get the out.
One away here in the 6th inning. Here's Elvis Andrus.
Craig, what was the heaviest bat that you used in the big leagues? And the reason I say that is Elvis Andrus right now is using a bat that is 35 inches and 33 ounces. And Pudge Rodriguez told us that Odor, the second baseman, uses a 34-inch, 33-ounce bat. How heavy a bat did you use?
I only use a 31-ounce bat.
Why so light?
The reason being is I relied on quickness. I wanted to be able to get the bat through the strike zone. And I've heard this a bunch. A lot of guys, talk about getting a heavier bat, which obviously allows the ball to jump off of it. The ball goes further. And I talked to JD Martinez actually about it. He actually changed his bat. He went up from a 31, he said, to a 32, and the ball started jumping off his bat. I wasn't listening, Rob. I should have been listening. Man, he got a 32, 33 ounce and still been able to whip that thing through the zone.
Victor Martinez told me a story a couple of years ago when he first put on a Tigers uniform that when he would play against the Chicago White Sox when he was a catcher, the sound off Jermaine Dye's bat was so loud that one day he asked him, what size is your bat? And Jermaine Dye told him, and he used a 34-ounce bat. Victor went to a very heavy bat after that. He started having a lot of success in the big leagues. Willie Horton, he swung about a 37, 38.
Alfonso Soriano in Chicago was his teammate.
Headed back to the seats, and Avila runs out of real estate.
But for guys like Odor and Andrews who aren't very big in stature, why would they use bats that are so heavy?
Well, a lot of times these guys just think about just dropping the head down on the baseball. And you don't have to try to do too much with your swing. And that's what Alfonso Soriano told me in Chicago. He simply thought if he just put the barrel of the bat on the baseball and caught it out front, the bat was going to do the rest of it. The ball was going to jump off of it.
Soriano was 35.
Yes.
Fly ball left field, hit well. Rajay going back to the track. He's going to the wall to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th inning. Game break time. Here's Matt Shepard. Put well there, Shep. Put well. And you got to respect what they've done, no doubt. They are there every single season. And Simo, you and I are on the same page in terms of who's coming out of the American League. I got Toronto as well.
I just love the energy. I just love the way they're playing the game. Josh Donaldson, for me right now, is the American League MVP. And just the way he plays the game, I think everybody on that team now, with Joey Bat and Edwin Encarnacion, they're just feeding off his energy level, and they're just playing great baseball, Mario.
Rougned Odor takes the ball inside. They also have good ancillary pieces. I mean, you got a guy like Kevin Pillar in center field who's not a great player, but is a great defender.
Yes.
And you need that as well. But do they have enough behind David Price in the rotation?
Well, I think that's the big question.
There's a nice play there by Kinsler, who's going to throw him out. We'll continue that conversation. It's a 1-2-3 sixth inning. We'll head to the seventh there in Arlington. Here in Arlington, we're talking about some of the possible award winners, MVP front runners right now. You got Donaldson, right, Simo?
Yeah, I got Donaldson. Look at those numbers, Rod. Those numbers are ridiculous. 299. We talked about it earlier. 300 just looks better.
Yeah.
But 41 home runs and, guys, 122 RBIs.
I got Donaldson as well, but that 9.4 WAR at the bottom number there and the 8.5 there to Donaldson. So basically that number is telling our viewers that even though the numbers are better for Donaldson up and down, Trout is a more valuable player to his team. Is that correct, Mario?
That is correct. Well, I mean, there are so many different ways you can look at it. Yeah, the WAR is higher for Mike Trout, but you know, I think a lot of that comes for Trout's ability to play center field and some of the highlight reel catches he makes and some of the little things he does for his team. But you're right, that WAR is higher, and that certainly means something. But you know, if it was close, if they both were separated by maybe 3 or 4 RBIs, batting average was that close, home runs were that close, then I think that comes into play. But I'm with you. I think Donaldson's your MVP.
There's no question that Trout is the best player in our sport.
Right.
I mean, he's won an MVP. He's finished back-to-back to Miggy a couple of times before he even won it, and he's in the conversation again. So, I mean, when's the last time a guy finished second twice, won one, and finished second again?
Meanwhile, Avila finds a hole and comes up with a base hit to lead things off in the 7th.
The Toronto Blue Jays at the start of September, they were 6.5 games behind the Kansas City Royals for the best record in the American League. Coming into play today, they were 1.5 games better for the best record in the American League. So that's a 7-game swing.
Yeah, Craig, we're talking about, do they have enough behind David Price?
You know what? They just got Marcus Stroman back, who they missed him all season long. He got hurt in spring training, and he's been lights out since he's taken the bump. And so when you add in the fact that they have Marcus Stroman back, you got an R.A. Dickey, who's a National League MVP, I mean, Cy Young Award winner with that nasty knuckleball.
Hutchinson.
And you got Hutchinson. I mean,
although you don't know what's going to happen here.
I mean, you got a couple guys that I feel like can go out and keep their offense in the game. And that's all they have to do, Ron. This team puts up crooked numbers up and down their lineup.
Who does have the best starting pitching in the American League? I mean, Cueto is still struggling. He struggled again last night.
I think it's kind of shifted. I think now the focus is on the bullpens.
Driven to right field. Shin-Soo Choo is back there, one gone.
Toronto also has a guy by the name of Estrada that has won 13 games for them very quietly.
You know, I would say Houston has a really good starting rotation, although Kazmir was roughed up his last start. I mean, you're talking about McHugh's had a really good year. Dallas Keuchel,
Fires,
McCullers, Fires. I mean, that's a pretty good quartet there.
Their bullpen has been good until lately. They've they got beat up lately, as a team has gotten beaten up in the month of September.
Well, I was worried about that team, guys, to be honest, because of how they score their runs. They're not a team that really manufactures runs. They're a team that hits the ball out of the ballpark. And when you do that, there's a lot of swings and misses.
A lot of strikeouts.
A lot of strikeouts. Yeah. And I think that's that's hurting them.
They do manufacture runs, though, Simo. They're leading the American League in stolen bases with 114. So they run. So they are manufacturing a little bit, but they do strike out a lot. There's no doubt about that.
I feel like they get it. They run. They steal bases, but they still sitting back waiting for the 2 or 3 run home run. I don't really know if seeing them hitting, running, laying down bunts. I just feel like, yeah, they've got some speed. But as far as manufacture, being able to get that guy in from third base, less than 2 outs, haven't seen him do that well this year.
Here's the 1-1. Romine looks at a ball high. 2 balls and 1 strike. 6 runs, 8 hits. Texas, 2 runs, 10 hits for the Tigers. Romine 0 for 2. Slap foul back out of play.
And Romine a little upset with himself, left the strike zone to swing at that 2-1 fastball, but that's what happens. And when you know beyond the shadow of a doubt you're going to get that heater, even though the count's 2-1, you'll get out in front of it, and every now and then you leave the strike zone.
Right, I like what Romine has done with this mechanic. You know, being a bench player, not getting a lot of reps, he simply spread it out his approach. And I talked to him a little bit today about it. He just wanted to be more handsy and give himself a chance to make good, solid contact. And man, he's hitting 260 right now, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. I mean, that's been solid for a backup utility player.
It's a 2-strike approach.
On 1 hop to the shortstop, Andrews. Nice play to get the force at second base. And there are 2 gone. Let's check in now. We go down to the field with John Keating.
Mario, this is right in your wheelhouse, because when I've seen you out and about in the clubs, I have seen you do the stanky leg. And basically, that's what we got from Andrew Romine last night. He was hit by a pitch in the upper thigh and told me today he couldn't even feel that leg as he was running on that leg down to first base last night after he was plunked by the pitch. He's just wanted to stay in the game. It was a few moments at first base before all the feeling returned, and he's fine. He's just happy it hit him where it hit him and not elsewhere.
John, you know, if you go with the stanky leg, you got to go with the whip and the nay-nay too now.
Absolutely. You know, you're gonna have that song in our heads, and trust me, nobody wants that, Rob. It'll stick with you forever.
Well, you went there.
You guys are so out of my league right now. I can't even tell.
Come on, Mario, the stanky leg. I've seen you do
You are
it.
so out of my league. Thanks, Keith.
He said Mario in the clubs.
Yeah, Mario ain't in the club. He wore when you're down there where it originated, the stanky leg. This is Texas. That's how they do it.
1 ball and 1 strike on Anthony Gose.
We've officially driven it off the track.
Yes, we have. I'm not sure I can get it back on either.
You're whipping it, nay-nay, and Keats is stanky legged. I love it.
Gose. Oh, man, he was almost drilled. 2 balls, 1 strike on Anthony. Wow, I don't know how that didn't hit him. Gose in this ball game, couple of strikeouts and a double play ball. And the 2-1 is swung out and missed. 2-2. Should Gose reach, Davis is on deck. Tigers have had a few chances in recent innings, but they've been short-circuited by a double play. They had 2 men out in the 6th, but couldn't score. Fouled straight back. 2-2. On the ground of the shortstop, Andrews will throw to first for the out, and that will end the inning. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch. Simo, see you in the club. We'll see you on the postgame show too.
Thank you guys for having me.
Rangers have the lead, trying to win 2 out of 3 here in this series. And the Tigers bullpen in the last 10 games. Here are the numbers for Detroit.
Yeah, they've stepped up in 35 contests, a 2.31 ERA. The opponent's batting average is just 175 against the Tigers bullpen, striking out a few, not walking very many.
Lobstein goes back to work in the bottom of the 7th and throws a strike. Robinson Chirinos, who has a solo homer in this game, will be followed by DeShields and then Shin-Soo Choo. Ground ball, third base side, just outside of the bag. And a souvenir. Hey, all 3 of them got a ball now. Mom needs one.
In a real nice spot.
A little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Chirinos. His homer was his 10th. That was in the biggest inning the Rangers have had in this game, the 4-run third, which broke it open. And Chirinos got underneath this one. Who wants it? Kinsler does. It's 5 in a row retired by Lobstein. Now Delino DeShields. He is 0 for 2 plus a walk.
Yeah, Tigers have kept him quiet. Yeah, really the entire series. Just 1 hit for DeShields in the series.
They really haven't needed their leadoff man to do much tonight because the middle of their lineup has gotten it done. Home runs from Beltre and Napoli in the middle of the lineup, and of course the number 9 hitter Chirinos.
The Rangers are looking to go 9-2 in their last 11 games, started by left-handed pitchers. Opponents left-handed pitchers. Norris started last night for the Tigers. And he did something, Mario, that had not been done since 2010. And that's 54 pitches in a frame, one frame.
Lobstein pouncing and throwing it away. Will stop right there. It was backed up by Collins.
That'll be a base hit for the Shields. Now, Lobstein probably shouldn't have even thrown it. Because once he reached down to grab the baseball, he did not have a clean handle on it. You could see. No clean handle. Airmailed the first baseman. Nice job by J.D. Collins in right field, backing up. You've always got somewhere to go if you're a defender. He could have very easily, I'm talking about Tyler Collins, got caught watching that play, but he was over by the line, and he backed it up, and he kept the Shields at first base. It's a nice job.
1-out single, infield hit. That is the 9th hit of the night for the Rangers. Shin-Soo Choo extended his hitting streak to 8 straight with a single in the first. Chu was single and ground down to fly out. The A's have defeated the Angels 8-7. And so Texas trying to win tonight, and that would put them 3 games up. Rangers' magic number right now is 2.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the contest. Somebody will be celebrating in this particular ballpark this weekend. And it's looking more and more like it's going to be the home team, the Rangers.
Yeah, it would take an Angel sweep, it appears.
And the Seattle Mariners also on top of the Houston Astros in Seattle. They're in the second. And Seattle with a 2-0 lead.
One ball, no strikes, and Shin-Soo Choo. Beltre waiting on deck. Almost hit him.
Good fastball, make him move his feet. Chu's been way too comfortable in the series. Always has a very high on-base percentage. He's sitting at .375 right now, which is good for 5th in the American League. But Chu always has a very good on-base percentage.
Couldn't hold up, snap throw, and the runner back.
A little bit more on Chu as far as the on-base percentage in September. Ooh, .435. It's at 6th highest since 1914.
Big cheer now as they put the final up with the A's beating the Angels 8-7. So if the Rangers win this game here tonight, they'll go into that final 4-game series up 3 games. Two balls, 2 strikes on Chu. Beltre waiting on deck. One out infield hit by the Shields. 6-2 Rangers. We're in the 7th.
If you're the Texas Rangers, the one thing that you're hoping, though, Mario, if they can clinch before they get to Sunday, because I don't think they want to use Cole Hamel to start the game on Sunday. They'd much rather have him start the first game of the playoffs.
No doubt. Yeah, that's a great point. Hamels has to be their game 1 starter. Swing and a miss. Chu retired, and there are 2 outs. A strikeout, the first of the game for Lobstein. For the time being right now, the wild card is tied. The second wild card position. The Yankees still lead the top wild card spot. Here is Adrian Beltre. Bouncing in the dirt. Runner will go. Throw down. Not in time. DeShields broke quickly and gets into second base. He'll move up on a wild pitch.
And DeShields has outstanding speed, and as soon as the ball trickled a couple of feet away from McCann, he was off and running.
Beltre had a 2-run shot in the first, doubled and scored. That was in the third. Rangers trying to get another run here. Swing and a miss. Beltre now has 6 hits in the series with his 2 for 3 tonight. Average up to 283. Two balls, 1 strike. Well, the Angels really have only themselves to blame for their loss tonight. They lost 8-7. They committed 4 errors. Ooh. There's a ground ball cut off by Kinsler. His throw is wide, but in time, Avila held on to the bag, and that is it for Texas in the 7th. We go to the 8th. The Tigers and Rangers wrapping up this series means an off day tomorrow, and then it's on to Chicago, where it's going to be Simon and Sale in game 1. The pitching matchup presented by Horton Chevrolet for game 1.
It's never easy in a game where Chris Sale is the opponent. He has 267 strikeouts. He has only walked 41 this year with a 3.48 earned run average. Alfredo Simon, he'll be looking for win number 14 with a 5.18 ERA.
And back to the bullpen they go. Sam Dyson coming on now for the Rangers.
And Dyson's numbers with the Texas Rangers simply off the chain. In 27 games, the ERA sits at 1.32. The whip is under 1. He's only walked 4, and he's punched out 23. He's a major reason why this bullpen of the Texas Rangers has taken off in the month of September.
There's the reason why the Rangers won last night. Drew Stubbs made a great running play on the drive by Kinsler in the 9th.
Yeah, he did.
So he is out there for defensive purposes again here this evening.
Dyson's got 96 with his fastball, and he throws that fastball 84% of the time. 4% of the time he'll throw you a slider and an occasional changeup. So the Tigers need to get ready to hit the fastball. Here's that catch you were talking about last night off the bat of Ian Kinsler. Stubbs had just entered the game as a defensive replacement. Ian Kinsler tried to go shopping in the gap, and Stubbs was not having any of that. Great concentration to run that ball down. That would have scored 2 runs.
That would have put the Tigers ahead. And instead, the Rangers won the ball game. First one to Rajai Davis inside. 97 from Dyson there.
And it's not a straight 97. That 97 had some arm side sink to it.
3 earned runs allowed in his last 26 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers got 2 runs in the first inning. They have not scored since in this game. Bouncing ball, fair ball over the bag. It'll bounce against the wall. Davis on his way to second base. And Chu's throw is late. It's a leadoff double.
Hard fastball thrown by Dyson, cued right down the first baseline by Rajai Davis. And Rajai Davis, man, he's got another gear. And once he makes up his mind, he's going to try to get to that next base. He's very difficult to throw out.
Ian Kinsler, another multiple hit game. He has 61 of those this year. Got 2 singles in this ball game tonight. Rolled foul, 0-1. That hit, by the way, is the 11th of the night for the Tigers. They've actually out-hit the Rangers 11-9. They trail by 4. Nothing but zeros up there for Detroit after getting 2 in the first on a 2-out, 2-run single by Tyler Collins. The 0-1. Make it 0-2.
Ian Kinsler with 61 multi-hit games this year. And you take a look at some of the multi-hit games since 2000 season. Polanco heads the list with 65. Miggy 64.
Did he hold up? Oh, he went around. Dan Bellino emphatically said he went.
Not much of an argument from Ian. It's a good call by Dan Bellino.
Well, they have not been able to get J.D. Martinez out tonight. 2 singles, a double.
Last year, there was only 1 player in the entire major leagues that hit 40 home runs, and that was Nelson Cruz, who hit 40 right on the button. This year, there's already 8 guys that have hit 40 home runs. 5 in the American League, 3 more in the National League. And you've got 2 guys that have a shot of getting there, and that would be Albert Pujols and J.D. Martinez. Both guys are sitting on 38. So we went from 1 guy to get to 40 to 8 this season.
J.D. still has a legit shot after tonight. 3 more games in a pretty good hitter's ballpark. Chicago over the weekend. It'd be something to get him to 40 and 100. Dyson ready with the 0-1. .98 that time from the Rangers right-hander. He had a 2.14 ERA last year in Miami. Rangers got him on July the 31st, right at the trade deadline. One and two.
And we told you that Dyson doesn't throw many breaking balls, mostly fastballs. But he threw an outstanding one there to Martinez.
Leadoff doubled in the inning by Rajay Davis. He is still at second with 1 out. Tyler Collins will be next. Swing and a miss, and JD is gone 2 away. Langston has come back with a couple of punch outs. Well, October means baseball, and FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 2 outs for Tyler Collins. Collins sends a ground ball right side. Pitcher will cover for the out, and that will end the inning. No runs. The double is stranded. To the bottom of the 8th we go. And Tigers baseball tonight presented by Belton. From the 60-day disabled list today, he will pitch out of the bullpen for the Cardinals.
It's good news for them.
And Jerry DiPoto has been named the executive VP, general manager of the Mariners. How about Clayton Kershaw, complete game, 1 hitter?
He's the best pitcher in the game overall, and it just kind of makes you wonder, Mario. I know I've been on Arrieta. I know you've been on Greinke. But, man, you cannot sleep on Kershaw, man. What he has done the entire second half of the season, not to mention all the Cy Youngs he's already won. You would think that somebody would have to convincingly dethrone him, and I don't know if that's the case.
Well, Greinke and Arrieta have ERAs that are sub-2. There's a bouncing ball to the right side. Kinsler has it.
Where's Kershaw at?
Kershaw, I'm trying to find him. He is third at 2.16. So he's pretty much right there with the ERA, but the strikeout numbers, 294 punch-outs.
Really the only one with a lower whip than Kershaw since the second half began is the guy in Chicago. That would be Jake Arrieta. That's going to be an interesting race. Arrieta has one more start.
Will Venable takes ball one. You think Bryce right now has overtaken Keuchel in the American League?
Yeah, I think so. I think Price is going to win his second Cy Young.
Tallison, the closer, warming up.
And deservedly so, what he's done with Toronto since putting on their uniform.
Pulled toward Kinsler, who flags down another. 2 up, 2 down.
Probably not going to be all that difficult for the voters this year. The kid Bryant's going to get the Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about that. Lindor or Correa is going to get the Rookie of the Year in the American League. We've already touched on the Cy Young in the National League. Arrieta, Greinke, Kershaw, take your pick. And Price is going to get it. Donaldson's the MVP in the American League. Who's the MVP in the National League?
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper?
Yeah, for me, easily. Ball one outside. Mitch Moreland batting with 2 outs in the 8th. 6-2, Rangers had the lead. And Lobstein hit the glove for a strike.
And so far, nice job by Kyle Lobstein since coming in. He's thrown 41 pitches and hasn't given up anything, really.
No, he's retired 9 of 10, the only base runner and infield hit. Moreland is 1 for 3. The shift against Moreland. 2-2.
No walks, 1 strikeout, 1 measly hit.
Full count 3-2 on Moreland should he reach. Andrews is next. The Tigers in the 9th inning have Castellanos, Avila, McCann. It's fouled away.
Did Brad say whether Victor Martinez would play again this year? Did he cover that at all today?
He didn't cover
to his meeting late today.
Yeah, he didn't cover it today, but I would think that if he does play in Chicago, and maybe just 1 game, I'm not sure that's even going to happen.
And that might be against Sale because he owns Chris Sale.
Yeah, that's Friday night. 2 out base on balls for Moreland. And now Andrews gets another shot. There's Cabrera sitting on the bench tonight, getting the night off. He's kind of hanging out with his bat. The chopper toward third on the charge. Castellanos, barehanded play. Wow, what a play by Castellanos.
You will not see a better play made by Castellanos at third base. That was spectacular for him.
So we'll go to the 9th. For the bottom of the 8th.
He barehanded it.
That's nicely done. stretch, and for a while there, Rod, it looked like they were going to win the West no problem. But
they were playing some spectacular baseball. I mean, they really had it going under their manager, A.J. Hinch. It's his first year in Houston. We've well documented Houston. And they rely heavily on a lot of the statistical data these days, but they just haven't played good baseball down the stretch.
Sean Tolleson about to make his 70th appearance of the year.
And we saw him last night. And he was on the bump when the Texas Rangers won the game. 34 saves for Tolleson and 36 opportunities, a 2.73 ERA.
So the closer comes in a 4-run game here. The Rangers trying to go up 3 games on the Angels for the West Division. First pitch hammered to right field. Ball hit well. Chu is going to look up, and that ball is going to go up against the wall. Castellanos on his way to second base. He'll pull in with a leadoff double.
He makes an outstanding play to end the bottom half of the 8th inning, and then he comes up first pitch swinging against their closer and hits a double off the gate in right center field. This is a real good swing by Castellanos. Inside out off the 377 sign in the outfield.
"32nd double of the year for Castellanos. Here's Alex Avila. Ball 1 to Avila. Got on base twice tonight. Single and a walk for the Tigers first baseman. Fly ball left field. That'll move Venable back to the track, to the wall to make the catch. Castellanos tagging, coming to third. He's in there. Boy, Avila hit that ball a long way.
We were talking about Avila when he came to the plate his first time up, and when he first came to the big leagues, how he had that tremendous power the opposite way. And then they wanted to make him pull some balls, and he just kind of struggled the last couple of years. It's a nice play in the outfield by Venable. There's no way Napoli makes this play, but he's a good defender. Will Venable at the base of the wall. Also, nice read by Nick Castellanos, getting back to the bag, tagging up to get to third. What are they going to say? Castellanos didn't tag up?
Bannister and Tom Hallion, their crew chief, chatting. Now they want the entire crew to convene, and we'll see what this is about. If they didn't think he tagged up, wouldn't they just simply appeal?
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened here. I mean, we have to take another look at it. I'm wondering if an Avila passed Castellanos or something. I'm kind of was trying to read his lips, but we'll see. Let's see Castellanos here. He reads it out. Vila's running. He's going to come into your picture here in a moment. So no, it's not it.
This is the second conversation we've had tonight in which all the umpires got together on the infield.
The only thing that it could be, they're questioning whether he got back to tag up or not. I can't even imagine what else it could be.
But again, if that's the case, why wouldn't you just appeal? And now Brad Ausmus is being summoned. I'm going to look at something, it appears.
Brad just wanted some clarification as to what they were looking at.
Beltre looks confused. So does Castellanos.
Yeah, Beltre's asking what's going on.
There's Tom Hallion on the right, crew chief, and in contact with the command center in New York.
Well, as soon as they sort it out, and we'll make sure we get it to you.
Yeah, typically MLB will let us know what they're reviewing or what part of a play they're reviewing, but we haven't heard anything yet. But right now, as it stands, there's a runner at third with 1 out. Well, it just announced here in the stadium that the review is whether or not Castellanos went back and hit the bag at second and touched second base. But again, why not just appeal? It used to be a good old-fashioned appeal play, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, let's see. Apparently he did, so he's called safe at third base. Castellanos is sitting there going, I'm not sure what these guys are looking at.
Yeah, he got there.
So with 1 out, a runner at third base. That'll bring up McCann. McCann tonight a single in 3 at-bats. And the first one from Tollefson is inside, 1-0. So a couple of hard hit balls against Tollefson here in the 9th inning. A double by Castellanos and the fly ball from Avila that sent Venable back to the wall. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. That review took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Now McCann behind in the count, 1-2. Tigers scored 2 in the first. Rangers answered with 2 of their own on a home run in the bottom of the first by Beltre, and then it's been all Texas since. They scored 4 in the third. Swing and a miss. McCann is down, and there are 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the big boys, big play of the game, Mike Napoli. He started in left field tonight against Matthew Boyd and connected for a home run and then promptly left the game after that. And he's been a major reason why their numbers have perked up against left-handed pitching in the month of September.
Andrew Romine, the last chance tonight for the Tigers. Romine is 0 for 3. And now he's down 0-2. Rangers 1 strike away from building a 3-game lead in the West. And a crowd of better than 28,000 to its feet. Ball low as Romine would not bite. Swing and a miss to strike him out. And the Rangers win 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. 6-2 the final score tonight from Arlington. And we'll be back with more